Hello everyone, I apologize for, again, not quite uploading so many videos, but perhaps that's a good thing. You've had a chance to catch up and just get into the Bible, which is the whole point of these videos. Actually, the whole point originally was just to have a clearinghouse for all the sermon ideas I get. But if you're enjoying these videos, don't forget to like and subscribe. That'd be great. But also get in the Bible and read for yourself. There's so many treasures and jewels and gems of truths in the Word of God. I encourage you to watch, or not watch, but yeah, I encourage you to do that too, but also read the Bible, get into it yourself. Because there are doubtless many things that I am missing and skipping over. You have to read the Bible again and again in order to see the hidden truths. There are so many hidden treasures deep in the Bible. Today, it's a sad day. We've been following, we kind of followed their Asa. Maybe I'll put I figured out how to do that little card thing. Maybe we'll put a couple up on screen, because we talked about Asa. The first video we talked about Asa is where he prays to God. He's going up to the Ethiopians, who had a very great army, 300,000, well no, the people of Judah had 300,000, but the Ethiopians had 1,000,000 men and 300 chariots. And he prayed to God and said, whether by many or by few, basically, you are able to deliver us. Not us, but you. You can make us strong. And so they attacked the Ethiopians, and they won, and they carried away great plunder, exceedingly much spoil. That's in 2 Chronicles 14, and we had a video on that. And then, just this last video, this is a little bit out of order because of how I started the series, but the last video we had was chapter 15 of 2 Chronicles, where we talk about the reforms of Asa, and how we need to be reforming and making reforms also. And how God is with us as long as we want to be with God. And as long as we seek Him, He will be found by us. But if we forsake Him, He will also forsake us. But now we're in chapter 16, and Asa has been the hero of our, kind of the hero. Actually, this is something else I want us to consider. Oftentimes in our lives, we think of ourselves as the main character, the protagonist in our own movies of life. I get that too. But we should think more and more of us not being the protagonist, but God is the protagonist, and we're just the supporting actors. Think about that. We're the supporting actors in this movie. The great controversy between Christ and Satan. Christ is the protagonist, Satan's the antagonist, and we're supporting cast, supporting characters for Christ and His role. And so Asa is a huge supporting character during his time. However, he goes to the dark side. We're going to be reading 2 Chronicles chapter 16. And just a little recap, we won't read the whole thing, but basically 16:1-6. Asa, he forms a treaty with Syria, and he gives gold and silver to the kings, so that he was being attacked by Baasha, the king of Israel. Asa is reigning in Judah and Israel, I believe. Yeah, in Judah, and then Baasha is reigning in Israel. So Baasha sends an army to Asa, and Asa, in his kind of distress, he sends silver and gold to the king of Syria, to Ben-Hadad. He's the king of Syria, and says, let's have a treaty. Break your treaty with Baasha, because Syria and Baasha had a treaty, and now he's giving him money. Asa's giving the king of Syria money to break his treaty with the king of Israel. And so it happened that Ben-Hadad, the king of Asa, he went and attacked storage cities of Israel. And when Baasha heard it, he ceased building Ramah, which was a fortress. And then King Asa was able to go carry away all the equipment to build Ramah. You see, it's like building a big base right on the border of your enemy. And Asa didn't like that. So that's what Asa had. He made the king of Syria a distraction so that he could stop the building of that city. But there was a problem with that, and we're going to see that now as we read 2 Chronicles chapter 16, verse 7. It says that at that time Hanani the seer came to Asa, king of Judah, and said to him, "Because you have relied on the king of Syria and have not relied on the Lord your God, therefore the army of the king of Syria has escaped from your hand. Were the Ethiopians and the Lubim not a huge army with very many chariots and horsemen? Yet because you relied on the Lord, he delivered them into your hand. For the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth, to show himself strong on behalf of those whose heart is loyal to him. In this you have done foolishly. Therefore from now on you shall have wars." Then Asa was angry with the seer and put him in prison, for he was enraged at him because of this. And Asa oppressed some of the people at that time. It's a sad day. Asa has forgotten what God did for him with the Ethiopians, how he was delivered, and instead relied on another army, not the army of God, but the army of the Syrians to help him in this time. And Hanani, the seer or the prophet, he told Asa his mistake, and rather than repenting, humbling himself, Asa threw him in prison, and he started to oppress other people too. And we saw how Asa was a great general, a great king, how he made reforms, but he turned from his goodness and went the wrong way. And we should treat this as a warning to us. No matter how quote unquote good we are, no matter how much we do, there's always the chance that we can slip and fall. Especially if we exalt ourselves too high and forget to humble ourselves and forget that God has done everything for us and is everything that is good in us. It comes from God. It's Jesus in us that makes us ultimately good, and we oftentimes tend to forget that. We forget that promise that's in verse 9. For the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth, to show himself strong on behalf of those whose heart is loyal to him. It's not for our glory that God does anything through us that is good. It's for his glory. Again, we're the supporting characters. Our role is to uplift God. Our role is to show people who God is and give glory to him. And that's the thought that I want to leave you with. God is always looking for actors, for agents, for people who will do his will, who he can use to show his greatness and his power. And it is a blessing and a privilege for us to serve God, for us to be in this role of supporting him and leading others to him. So I encourage you, as you go throughout your day, as you go throughout your lives, remember that we're the supporting actors. Remember that God is looking for how he can use us to build up his kingdom, to bring others to him. And let us not think that we are the stars of this. It's God. He is our bright and morning star. Thanks for watching. Again, leave a like and subscribe, comment below too. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.